Vincent van Gogh's painting titled The Cottage, completed in 1885, offers a quietly compelling glimpse into rural Dutch life during the late 19th century. Today, this work is housed in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, where it stands as an important example of Van Gogh's early artistic pursuits. The scene centers on a modest rural dwelling, its steep thatched roof and weathered walls, characteristic of the countryside in the province of North Brabant, where Van Gogh spent a formative period of his career. The painting is rendered in deep, earthy tones, with the low light of dusk lending a subdued atmosphere. In the lower left corner, Van Gogh's signature is clearly visible, providing definitive attribution. The cottage itself was home to two families, including the de Groots, who would later become the central figures in Van Gogh's well-known painting, The Potato Eaters. This connection underscores Van Gogh's sustained interest in the everyday realities of peasant life, a theme that dominated his early work before his later, more vibrant experiments with color and technique. Examining the architecture of the cottage, we see a structure built for both function and endurance. The roof, steeply pitched and thickly thatched, is designed to shed rain and snow efficiently, a necessity in the often wet climate of the Netherlands. The walls are likely constructed from brick or local stone, their uneven surfaces captured by Van Gogh's use of impasto, a technique involving the thick application of paint. This method gives the walls a tactile quality, allowing viewers to almost feel the roughness and age of the building. The windows are small, with multiple panes and dark green shutters that provide a subtle contrast to the otherwise muted palette. These details are not merely decorative. They reflect practical concerns such as insulation and protection from the elements. A ladder leans against the side of the roof, suggesting ongoing maintenance of the thatch, a task that would have been part of the regular routine for the cottage's inhabitants. The overall impression is one of modesty and resilience. Every architectural choice speaks to the economic realities faced by rural families at the time, and Van Gogh's careful attention to these details conveys a sense of respect for their way of life. A closer look near one of the windows reveals a solitary figure, likely a woman, standing quietly by the glass. Her form is not rendered in great detail, but her traditional dress and white cap are discernible, attire typical for Dutch women in rural communities during this era. The faint light from inside the cottage partially illuminates her, creating a gentle interplay of shadow and glow. Her posture suggests she may be gazing out, or perhaps tending to a task just inside the window. This figure introduces a human presence into the scene, transforming the cottage from a simple architectural study into a lived-in home. The inclusion of this woman aligns with Van Gogh's broader artistic aim during this period, to depict the dignity and perseverance of peasant life. Rather than presenting her as an anonymous part of the landscape, Van Gogh gives her a quiet agency, inviting viewers to consider her daily experiences and routines. This narrative element deepens the painting's emotional resonance, connecting it to the artist's empathetic approach to his subjects. Turning attention to the sky, which occupies much of the upper portion of the canvas, we observe a subdued atmospheric treatment. Van Gogh employs a somber palette of grays, greens, and muted yellows to depict the evening sky. The sun, having just set or about to set, casts a faint orange glow along the horizon, signaling the close of day. The clouds are painted with broad, loose brushstrokes, their forms streaked and layered in a manner that contrasts with the more defined depiction of the cottage itself. This technique creates a sense of movement and depth, while also emphasizing the transitional quality of dusk. The interplay of light and shadow across the sky and landscape contributes to the overall mood of quietude and introspection. Van Gogh's careful attention to these atmospheric effects reflects his early interest in capturing the nuances of natural light and his desire to evoke a specific time of day. This approach would later evolve into the more expressive and colorful skies seen in his mature works, but here it remains grounded in realism and observation. Understanding the cottage within the context of Van Gogh's early career is essential for appreciating its significance. In 1885, Van Gogh was deeply influenced by the Dutch realist tradition, and by artists such as Jean-François Millet, who was known for his sympathetic depictions of rural laborers. Van Gogh's palette during this period was notably dark and restrained, a deliberate choice intended to convey the gravity and hardship of peasant life. Unlike his later works, which are celebrated for their vibrant colors and dynamic brushwork, the cottage is marked by a sense of sobriety and restraint. This painting was completed shortly before Van Gogh's move to Paris, where exposure to Impressionism and Japanese prints would dramatically alter his approach to color and composition. Nevertheless, The Cottage demonstrates his developing skill in organizing a scene, balancing architectural detail with atmospheric effects, and infusing everyday subjects with a sense of dignity. Van Gogh's commitment to portraying rural life with authenticity is evident throughout the work, reflecting his belief in the inherent worth of his subjects. The provenance of the cottage is closely tied to Van Gogh's family, particularly his brother Theo, who played a crucial role in preserving Vincent's artistic legacy. After Van Gogh's death in 1890, many of his works, including early paintings such as this one, were kept by Theo and later by his widow, Johanna van Gogh Bonger. Their efforts ensured that Van Gogh's art would eventually gain the recognition it deserved. The cottage depicted in the painting was inhabited by the de Groot family, who would later be immortalized in The Potato Eaters, one of Van Gogh's most ambitious early works. This connection provides valuable insight into Van Gogh's working process and his sustained engagement with particular subjects and models. Today, the cottage is part of the permanent collection of the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, where it is preserved and displayed alongside many other works from the artist's early period. Its presence in the museum allows scholars and visitors alike to trace Van Gogh's artistic development and to situate this painting within the broader trajectory of his career. In terms of market value, the cottage does not command the same high prices as Van Gogh's later, more colorful paintings. Its significance lies primarily in its historical and scholarly value, offering a window into the artist's formative years and his early commitment to realism. The painting's modesty and restraint are appreciated by those interested in the evolution of Van Gogh's technique and subject matter, as well as by those who value the authenticity of his engagement with rural life. Reflecting on the significance and legacy of the cottage, it is clear that this painting occupies an important place within Van Gogh's oeuvre. It stands as a testament to his early dedication to depicting the realities of rural existence, long before his work would be recognized for its expressive color and emotional intensity. The painting's careful attention to architectural detail, atmospheric mood, and the quiet presence of its human subject all contribute to its enduring appeal. By situating the cottage within the context of Van Gogh's life and artistic development, we gain a deeper understanding of the values that shaped his work: empathy, respect for the working class, and a persistent search for beauty in the everyday. Today, the cottage continues to invite viewers to consider the lived experiences of its inhabitants and to appreciate the subtle artistry with which Van Gogh rendered their world.